Hey guys, it's been a while. But yeah, it's been a while. So I'm gonna try to do a system where I'm gonna try to record videos at least once a month. Cause what I was doing before was once every other week. That was not okay, and it drained me a lot, and since I'm relatively new to this, I don't want to overwhelm myself again like that, so once a month videos, at least recording wise. I don't know when I'm going to post them, it's going to be sporadic, but anyway, thank you all for liking my videos, recording, and also thank you for 100 views on my work cosplay tutorial. I didn't expect that to get so well received, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you guys really like what I'm doing. And yeah, also I understand that the holidays have passed, so happy belated holiday greetings, as well as belated New Year, as well as Thanksgiving tidings. I don't know, it's been a while. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. What we are gonna do today is another tutorial, obvi, but I'm gonna do Dabi. And if you don't know who that is, it's not Harry Potter Dabi, no. It's My Hero Academia Dabi. And I've actually done him a couple of times, and I've had a lot of growth with him, cosplay wise and makeup wise. It's crazy. But yeah, so I'm just gonna teach you a very simple basic how to do his type of cosplay. And this process can also be altered to if you're gonna do a femme version of him. What I'm gonna show you can definitely be applied that way. The only difference is that it's gonna be feminine contouring instead of male, and then you might put on some lipstick if you want to do that. But I'll explain more as I go along, but welcome to the process. It's gonna be a trip, so trust it. Okay, I got a new fancy headband, like all the makeup gurus out there. Yo. But our first step isn't makeup, it's gonna be the contacts, because if your eyes water like mine do, it's easier to put them in first. I know people put them in after they do the makeups, but I'm not that type of material girl. Why did I make that joke? It's okay. So these are gonna be the contacts that I typically use. Since the character's eyes are blue, I typically go with the blue contact. It doesn't necessarily have to be this type of contact. Any blue contacts are fine, but if you already have striking blue eyes, that works too. I have blue eyes, but they're not that anime type blue eyes. So we got contacts. So wish me luck putting them on. And they only water a bunch of times. Now that we got contacts in, we're gonna do the foundation. My preferred choice of foundation for my very pale skin tone. Put some on the sponge and hope for the best. Then we put some foundation powder. Yeah. Some foundation powder, just to pick up any spots that we missed. Alright, now we got the foundation on, so now we're gonna do contouring, and this is my reliable contouring stick. I know it's a foundation stick for skin tones that are not my own, but this is honestly like a really perfect contour stick for my skin. So adaptability, yay. For contouring, just kind of focus on the forehead and the nose. I want to contour my cheek area a bit, not so much my chin because it's gonna be covered in purple, but I'm gonna show you a way to do a bit of contouring with that would match well with the purple, but that's not gonna be until later. So whatever contouring that you typically do, depending on what you're doing, male or female, I'm doing male, so sharp edges, do the main points except for the chin. We're gonna do that later. We get a big poofy brush like this and just blend away. Alright, because this side is kind of darker than this side, I'm going to try to tone it down. And I'm going to try to speed through this process because I just want to make it simple for you guys and not like over explain too much. So, speed round. But I will say this, if you're trying to dull down some color, just use either your foundation or the yellow tone highlighter in your palette, just to help diminish the whatever browns and orange tones that you have. As you can see, that's a bit better. I'm gonna do a bit more contouring on my forehead, and then we're gonna move to the next process, which is the nose. And before I speed through, what I use is Aesthetica, and typically we use the brown palettes. Alright, we got a little bit of the forehead going on. I know you're like, when are you gonna do the cheek area some more, Becca? We will get to that in a moment. I'm just gonna do the nose contouring first. And again, we're using Aesthetica, and we're gonna use the brown palettes, and we're gonna use my faithful little brush, which is this little boy. And if you have a square brush, that also works as well. And for this particular look, you can either, and again, it's depending on what you're comfortable with. I usually make my nose a little wider just to mimic more masculine feels, but I want to make this part of my nose a bit thinner. We zoomed in a bit so we can get a better look. So, we're using the brown tones right here, and we're just getting into the crease of the nose. That wasn't enough brown. I'm gonna do some more. And hit the crease a bit just to narrow it down. Just follow it. I'm gonna fix it up because I messed up. Oh, sometimes you can just smudge it with your nose, but I'm gonna make sure that I messed up a bit, so I'm gonna make sure that this side matches this side. I know, like I said in the past, that you can definitely make mistakes and just roll with it, but you also want to make sure things seem a bit like it's not on purpose. You can see that's a bit better. And I can fix up this side too. And then we just start to blend everything out and just keep it. adding. Just get to the nose. I'm gonna try to not make my footage blurry this time. Let's hope I'm doing better. Like you can see, it's becoming a different shape. If you see me looking to the side, that means there's a mirror right over there, so I want to make sure that it all turns out okay. I'm gonna use a square brush to help me blend. Oh, this isn't a square brush. This is a square brush. And I'm just gonna use it to help me blend. So let's hope for the best with this process. To help with the blending, I use the yellow tone or I use the powder foundation. I'm gonna make it just a little bit more narrow right there, so just give me a sec. I'm back. I actually fixed up the contour a bit because I didn't like how it was looking, but let me actually do a zoom in. But you can see, like, it's a bit more narrow. It still seems thick, but it's a more narrow feature. I just added a bit more brown, like I heightened that, and made sure like this part, like the middle part, like had light. So you can either do that with your highlighter, not like highlighter, but like the yellow tone in your contour palette or your foundation. So you can do that either process of how you want. So it's up to you. Okay, now that we got the nose down, we're gonna do the eyes, and we're gonna use NYX palettes. Wow. No. So now that we got the nose contour down, we're gonna use NYX palettes. And I'm gonna explain why we're using the colorful palette too. And this one's more of a personal touch. You can do it if you want, but I'll explain that part when we get there. Yeah, much like in the past tutorials, we're gonna use the lighter palettes just for like a nice base color, and then we're gonna go in with the darker stuff at the end, and we're gonna do something nice in the corner of the eye, but that's more for the color later, so bear with me. We start off with the absolute lightest, which is right here, little baby. Why am I like this? Just go in. It's a nice base. All right, now that we got a nice base, we're gonna work with the different nudes over here, and then end it off with the darker browns. Not typically, sometimes I use red, but we're gonna end off with darker browns just to continue with that natural streak. And so our first candidate is this one. I'm gonna put him in the middle of the eyelid. Also, your finger is your second best tool. It's a great tool. Just don't poke your eye out. Next, we're gonna go in a bit darker. I'm gonna swap brushes for the poofier one just to make it a bit smoky. I'm gonna throw in a different palette now. we're gonna throw in some Morphe stuff. There's so many colors. Look at all this. So many. And we're gonna do like, again with like the neuter colors, mix them in, and then put them in the middle. And then with the darker ones, we're gonna put in the tail end. Nice. And then we go back to NYX. And we go back and with the darker browns, we're moving back to the small boy. Yeah. And that's only the natural bit. We're gonna add a little bit of color. And as I said, this is a personal choice that I do. So since we're doing Dabi and he's purple for various reasons, since we're doing Dabi and one color in this color palette is purple, we're gonna use a little bit of the purple stuff right here, starting with the lightest purple. Just cover it. Do it in like the little crease of your eye. We don't want to do too much since it's like a little tint of it. And I'm gonna go with this little purple. That in the little. Pretty sure my footage is getting blurry, but what else is new here? I do put a bit underneath the eye, even though it's gonna be covered. And a little bit of dark in the corner too. Alright, now that we've got the basics with the makeup done, now on to probably the most time-consuming part of this. And that would be to make yourself purple. Hello, we're back. And I was kind of stupid before because I was doing the extra steps and I forgot to hit record, so it's okay, we're doing it. It's okay, everything's fine. So, to help with mapping out where you want your purple done, like an easy way for me to do it is to create an outline. And what I typically do is that I draw in with like a nude eyeliner pen, and it doesn't have to be nude. You can do white, or if you have a purple one, that's great. I don't typically suggest black, but it's gonna show up through the paint. I don't typically suggest black because it might not react well with the paint, and what I mean by that is that it's gonna be more noticeable. But if you do like nude or maybe even white, it's not gonna be as noticeable. So you just follow the line of your cheek. Like that. It's okay if you mess up too. It doesn't need to be perfect the first time. You can always fix it once you're putting the paint on. Also, I have no idea if you hear that, but that's my cat. She's, there's a bed in this room, and she's sitting on the bed, and she's, you know, doing what cats do. Anyway, and then you do the same process underneath your eyes, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful if you have bags under them, like I do. So yeah, this is typically the first step of the process, and as I mentioned before, we're gonna add a bit of contouring on it before we add the paint. And typically what I do is that I either grab my, like a natural eyeshadow palette or like my regular contour palette and just add in a little bit of brown, and then we blend it. And this just kind of helps creating depth with the skin. And if you don't like a certain way, it can always be covered up with the paint. So. Just added in a bit of a floofy brush. Just to help the blend, help the edges blend out. And I'm gonna add a bit darker color too. It's a bit more red on the side, but it's okay. We're gonna fix that in post. And then we do the same process under the eyes as well. Even blending out, like if you're using natural eyeliner pen, that works too. But just to create like more depth and color, you can use different browns and everything like that too. I feel like I'm an arcane character. I don't know. I haven't seen the show, but I've heard good things. Even now, like you can see a bit more definition between the skin and where the purple's gonna be. And again, if you don't like how a certain thing looks, just cover it up with the paint. Okay, now we got the basic contouring down. So what I'm gonna do is a quick outfit change. I just put on a tank. I just had a tank top under my sweater. It's not really an outfit change, but. And for the purple that we use, I'm gonna use water-based face paint. This is the brand Paradise. Well, not Paradise, but Mayron. I'm reading the back of the thing, like it says it on the back of it, so I'm just reading that. But this is a pretty nice water-based makeup, or you can use Snazaroo too, or if you want to use oil-based, that's really up to you. I'm just using water-based because I'm comfortable with this. And I know typically when people do this cosplay, they do some SF like special effects on it, where like it makes it seem like your skin is all burnt and crusty. I don't know how to do that, and I don't have a lot of special effects stuff. So if you are like me and don't know enough about that, face paint and blending, and yes, that is your friend. So to get a base, just get some water, your paint, and a flat brush, because that just helps get all the details. And for this, just get a smaller brush. So let us begin with this process. And mind you, this is gonna be the more lengthier part of this cosplay. So, I'm gonna put like a little timestamp depending if I go over a certain point or whatever. Just skip to the end, so you're not stuck here all day with me. Also, if you want to do like a little path mark for the little tip, or like just do around your neck, that's perfectly fine. All up to you. Doing great. I believe in you. I'm slowly losing my mind. Please help me. Okay, we got the purple bits on, or at least the face on, and a little quick tip with this, I just felt like it was just important. Why is this so up? Also, a nice little quick tip for like getting cleaner edges. Just, if you have like one of these cotton pad things, just fold it sideways, dip it in water, and just go to town, because this is water-based, so it's a bit more easier. It's a bit easy to manage, but also temperamental, because if you use too much water, then it's gonna just be a watery mess everywhere. Our next step to this amalgamation is putting setting powder in, just to help the paint dry and everything. It's very helpful for our next step. Like, look at all this powder. No, it actually does smell good, but don't snort this. For this next step, we use a big floofy brush and just go to town. Just put it all over your face. And if you see on your face that you're missing marks, or like some parts are lighter, that is okay, because we're gonna fix that up once we get into the hardcore stuff of contouring. And as I say all this, whatever we are applying to our face, like whatever process we're doing to our face, it can easily be matched and done on our arms or whatever other body parts you want to do this on, because it's a simple process, but it's also a very time-consuming process. So It's just, it's a lot. Now that we got like a bunch of the purple on, we're gonna do some detailing work so you don't look crazy. And for the detail, we're just gonna use any like purple that you have in your arsenal, like any type of purple foundation, any type of purple eyeshadow, face paint, whatever. I'm mostly gonna do eyeshadows though, like the powdered stuff, but I will show you an example of like what you would typically do with face paint stuff, just for that added little detail. Also, remember when I said don't worry about the chin yet? Now we're gonna do the chin, and we typically just use a darker purple. Just contour your chin. It's that easy. You might have to reapply a contour a bit just to like when you get the details in, you're gonna have to reapply stuff. And I know it kind of looks really dark right now, but trust in the process. So we're gonna do a bit of the dark and a bit of this one, and just add in some shading a bit. And we're gonna reapply a lot of the shading too, because once we get into the detail with the lines and markings, it's gonna be a bit covered up. So we're just doing like kind of like a first bit now, and then get into the rest later. So consider it like bases, like how we would base the face paint. Like we just start with base 1. And then we get into base 2, 3, and 4. And like I said, this is the most time-consuming part of this cosplay. Just adding in the shading and adding in the extra details. I feel like every time I do a cosplay, it just comes out looking very different than the first time, but that just shows growth and different ideas. Just contour and shade like a madman and or a woman and or non-binary individual, because yes. I feel like every screenshot of this is gonna look crazy. And when you're doing the lines and everything, make sure it goes like in a circular motion around your neck, just to make sure it's like following paths and everything. And this is just one color. I'm gonna add a bunch more shades of purple into this. Like now we're gonna add in shades, and I'm gonna do different variations of purple. I'm gonna use like different palettes. And just continue to add and layer the colors. And we are using a big fluffier brush right now, but I'm gonna later change into a thinner one just to get the more finer details. I just want to get these shades in of color right now, so that's why I'm using the fluffier type brush, so you can get all that shade of color, all those different types of colors to pop out and to make it more dimensional. And I'm gonna use like, as you can see, it's becoming more in depth. And if it gets muddled, that's okay. We'll fix it up in the detail department. Like, I'm showing you all basics right now, and even with beginners, or more so even with masters, you can still get some stuff messed up, and that's okay. Wow. So yeah, this is very dark, very colorful, dark. And now we are gonna do a bit of detailing, and don't worry, I'm not gonna forget these guys. It's just the same process as this, just on a smaller scale. So you just need to be more focused. I can't talk. This is the overall process of what it's gonna look like, at least shading and coloring wise. And now we're gonna go on detail work, and I am gonna use the different eyeshadows and everything that we did before when we were coloring, and I'm gonna do that the same here, and it's the same process just on a smaller scale. So I just wanted to get that done and over with. But as of right now, we're gonna do detailing. I'm gonna show you with and now we're on to detailing now. And I'm gonna show you first with the face paint. And you don't want it to be too watery, just because you want that, you want like have more control with it. And like you can see that it's brighter here, and it's gonna be layered a bunch of times. And we're gonna use the face paint more. You basically just want to do lines. They don't all necessarily have to connect, but just a bunch of lines. And you do have to wait until this dries before you go back into the eyeshadow and stuff. But I just want to show you this process just to know what it looks like, and I do like how this is coming out. Honestly, I've done them like a lot of times, and I haven't done it this process yet. I've done it where it's like only face paint, and then I did only eyeshadow. So now I'm doing both with the detailing. So I feel like this part would just be a nice highlight finish. We're not at the highlight finish yet. We're not there yet, but. And again, this process is similar to the eyes, except on a smaller scale, and similar to the arms and any other appendages that you want to paint. This is just a very time-consuming thing. Dabi's probably like one of my most time-consuming ones. will have to fix. I got blurry and my eyes got blurry. I will have to fix this area a bit, but I think once I put the I am gonna put lipstick on, but like a nude one, so it's not like gonna draw any attention away. But I think this is coming out pretty nice, like this. And it doesn't stay light for too long either, so that's a nice little touch that I see. So I can always apply and reapply. Also, if you see the lighting change a lot in this video, I'm in a room where it's slowly getting dark out during the winter times, and I have a ring light behind me. So that is why. So bear with me on that. Now for detailing, and not with face paint, but with the eyeshadow. And I'm gonna use like the smaller brush, and it can be like square, it can be the round, it can be any type of brush, but it's the same process. You just go in, and as you can see, the lines are more finer because it is a smaller brush. And you might want to make it more connecting lines. Not connecting, but like if you're doing a line around your chin, don't stop at the curve, at least follow through with it, or else it's gonna look weird. And again, this is the most time-consuming aspect of this cosplay. And we can use all the different purples that we used before, because it is on the smaller scale of the brush, so it's gonna look a bit different than what we did, where it's like, oh my god, a massacre with the big floofy brush where it's just a bunch of shading. But this time we're adding line details. Alright, I am gonna be right back. I'm gonna just do these, and then I'm gonna explain how we do the little staples, and then the little piercing, and also the eyebrows, and the completed outfit with arms. I'm not gonna show you the process of arms, because again, it's basically copy paste, except on arms. I'm back. I fixed up over here, but the foundation kind of added in with the purple, but it's okay, it's a look, and we're gonna cover up with lipstick, so it's okay. And in case anyone really forgot, it's the same process that we did with the chest on a smaller scale, but just so an example, just get like a small brush with like either a square edge or a round edge, like a small hard brush basically, and just go away and take your time. But if you mess up, that's okay. There are no mistakes, only happy little accidents. Bob Ross. Bob Ross said that. And again, this process can be applied to your arms. I'm not gonna show that because again, this is a very time-consuming process, and I just want to make a nice, easy video for you guys. So what we're gonna do now is just a relatively easy thing, putting on lipstick. I typically use like a nice nude variety, and just put it on. I may actually use a different one, a different nude variety. I'm gonna use this instead. Why is it blurry like It looks a bit weird because of the purple. I'll fix it in post. Well, actually, I might fix it now, so give me a... I'm back. I fixed up the lips. I added more concealer over here just to make it not purpley anymore. And before we get into adding the stitches, we're gonna add a bit of highlight, and I'm gonna add a bit of eyeliner on the tops of the eyes. It's not the greatest tip, but I guess it's gonna be one that I have to deal with. Or I'm actually gonna go with this because the tip is a bit more newer, so hopefully that will give me the advantage. I'm not gonna do anything crazy, I'm just gonna add it. I'm not good at applying eyeliner. I'm not good at applying eyeliner in the slightest, but I use a brush to help blend it out to make it seem like that was my intent. Also be wary of your eye. Don't poke your eye out. And if you're not comfortable with eyeliner, you can use a bit of black eyeshadow, use a square brush, like so, and just kind of like that. I might blend it out so it's not super black. So wish me luck on that. And to do that, I'm just gonna use this type of brush and just see how I'm just winging it. Yeah, nice. Time for the highlighter, and we get another big poofy brush, and we just get in there. Just. I always forget to add highlighter whenever I'm doing stuff, but now not. Alright, I did the highlighter. I'm actually just gonna do the brows just so I don't forget, and then I'm gonna show you how to do the stitches and the not the tattoos, but the piercings that he has. And you just use whatever color, whatever you typically use to fill in your brows. Like I use black eyeshadow and just go to town. Big poofy villainous brow. Okay, we're almost there. So with the stitching work, again, you can use special effects makeup for that, or if you want to make something for that, that is totally up to you. But I typically just use face paint, the Snazaroo kind, or whatever one you want to use. And the same thing goes with piercings. I just use black with a thinner brush, and yeah, that's really it. And for this process, it's good to have a reference. And it's, if you want to make it look symmetrical and like have the same number of stitching on the side, that's totally up to you. Again, you can do it however you want. And then you just I'll have to fix that. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I wiped it all off. So I'm just gonna cover it. But this time I'm gonna look in the mirror over here to do it, because what I did before was just a mess. So, and I think I added too much water, because like I said before earlier, water base isn't too difficult to work with, but it can become fickle if you don't use enough water in certain areas. See, that's a lot better. Okay, so we got the white down, and if you make a mistake, just cover it up and just make it seem like it's on purpose. Okay, that's how you do the white marks and like the little staples on your face with face paint. And whatever. And if you make a mistake, that's totally fine. Just cover it up and make it seem like it's on purpose. Happy accidents. And now with the nose, whenever you see a character on TV, you always think, oh, that's the right side. Oh, that's the right side. Like, look at their model and then flip it, and whatever side it is the right side. I don't know why I'm saying this. I guess that's just how I think of it. But Dabi's piercings, like his nose piercings, are on this side, and this is my right side, what I'm doing. So, and then you just do 3 gentle dots, and then that's it. Okay, I did forget here, but I will do this later once I show you the final look. But I just want to tell you right now that in terms of costuming and even with wig and hair, you can use your natural hair if you want. I'm gonna use my natural hair since it's a very dark brown, which can be mistaken for black. I have clothes, it's not the costume, which I'm pretty sure you can buy on Amazon or any costume store, but I have pieces that resemble his iconic look right here, and just gonna roll with that. You don't need to be 100% accurate, that's totally fine. 100% get it, but you don't need to be 100% accurate in terms of cosplay. Just do it however you want. Like, do it or more so, do it in terms that you're comfortable with. Like, if you have a character that has a too short skirt, make it a skirt that's your size, like your comfortable length. That's up to you. With this is easier for me because I don't have to necessarily buy a big fancy costume. Just get pieces and just resemble those pieces. And yeah, so I will be right back with the finished results. So yeah, this is it. And I do apologize, depending on how I edit this, for it being very chaotic. This always happens when I'm filming, where it's like, oh, I have a nice process in the beginning, and then just goes out the window towards the end of it, and I just lose track of everything. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was informative and helpful to you. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please check out my other videos. Check out my Insta, TikTok, those socials. Please comment, subscribe, and I hope that you guys are having a really nice day. And yeah, thanks for watching.